In this session we'll be tying Cathal Rush's red-ribbed mayfly, a great pattern at mayfly time on both corb and mask. The first step is to run the tying thread on just behind the eye, secure that loose end in place and trim it off, and then carry the thread on down the shank in touching turns to position roughly opposite the barb. The tail comprises 3 fibres of cocked pheasant tail. So we take the pheasant tail and we tease out 3 strands and strip them off the quill, and then trim the ends, and then offer them up to the hook and catch them in at the bend with a couple of turns of thread. And with the tail in place, now catch in a strand of Glow Brite No. 4 floss, catch that in at the base of the tail and secure the loose end along the shank. And then trim off the excess pheasant tail. Then take the thread back a few turns down the shank, ready for dubbing on the body. Now the body comprises a pinch of bleached seal's fur, which we offer up to the thread and dub it on with a nice simple finger and thumb twist. Now there is a bit of see-through when you're using a red tying thread, but that doesn't really matter. Once the fur is dubbed onto the thread, we take it down to the base of the tail and begin to wind it on up over the shank. So keep winding the fur up over the hook, taking it up right to probably 3/4 of the way along the shank. With the body in place, the next step is to select 2 hackles, one white and one dyed lemon. These will be placed together and palmered down the shank in open turns right to the tail. So having placed the 2 hackles together, tear off the fibres from the base, leave a section of bare stem, and then with the scissors just trim them short. So having prepared the hackles, just catch them in by those 2 little stubs of stem immediately in front of the body. With the hackles caught in, the next step is to take hold of them by their tips using a pair of hackle pliers, making sure that the hackles lie perfectly together, and then make a single turn, just ensuring that that lemon hackle is in front of the white, and then carry the hackles down along the shank, over the body in nice evenly spaced turns. Keep winding until you reach the base of the tail. With the body hackle in place, take hold of the Glow Brite floss and begin to wind it up through the hackle, locking it to the body. As you wind, wiggle the floss from side to side a little. This helps the floss to work through the hackle rather than trapping the fibres to the body. Carry on winding the rib up through the hackle in evenly spaced turns. And when you reach the front of the hackle, secure the loose end of the floss with tying thread. The final stage in this pattern is to add the collar hackle, which comprises dyed yellow French partridge hackle. Now the first thing we do is stroke the fibres back against the grain and trim the tip to leave just a short stub. Having done that, we then offer the feather up to the hook and catch it in by its tip. Now to wind the hackle, you can use a pair of hackle pliers, but because there's plenty of stem to work with, it's easy just to use your fingers. And you just first thing is just to stroke those fibres back and make a nice turn close up against the body hackle. And then continue winding up towards the eye, stroking those fibres back as you work so that the fibres sweep back over the body. Carry on up right until the point where you reach the eye and then secure the stem with a couple of turns of thread. So with the collar hackle in place, just simply trim off the excess stem of the feather, and then with a few turns of thread build a small head, and then cast off with a 3-turn whip finish. Pull it nice and tight, bed the thread down, then with scissors just trim off the loose end. And there you have it, the red-ribbed mayfly.